Hey everyone, I'm Cabner, a streamer and content creator and a killer main on DBD. Before we hop into today's video, I just want to say that all the footage is pulled from my stream. If you ever want to check me out live, you can find me on Twitch TV/Cabner. There's a link down in the description. Would be great to see you there. Today I want to talk about using misinformation and a specific type of mind game to your advantage when playing killer. Specifically, I want to talk about hiding the red stain whenever you're in a chase. So the red stain is a glowing red light in front of the killer. It's typically always present, with some exceptions like demanifested Onryo or cloaked wraith. But it essentially acts as a source of information for survivors, telling them what direction the killer is looking, and it often gives them an extra split second to respond to the killer. Now, most new killers always run straight forward, and thus provide survivors with free information. However, it's important to remember that killers move in the same speed in any direction, not just forward. And in the right circumstances, you can run backwards briefly or for a longer period of time to hide your red stain from survivors. This can help your killer close crucial distance, possibly score a hit, and it's generally a very powerful mind game to have in your toolkit once you get comfortable using it. What I want to do first is take us to a little bit of gameplay footage where I'm playing Survivor, when we can see the red stain from Wesker. We'll pause, we'll talk about it in just a second, but let's just let a little bit of gameplay footage play. Just keep feeding me. Keep feeding me my great skill checks. Not today, Wesky boy. Now, the wall here is short, so we can see exactly where Wesker is and what direction he's facing, but imagine if it reached up to the ceiling. Wesker's red stain is bleeding around the corner, so even if I couldn't see him, I would still know roughly where he is and what direction he's facing. If we take this scenario, assume the wall blocks vision of Wesker, and Wesker approaches backwards. I don't get the same information and likely can't respond in time if he rounds the corner and goes for an attack, starting by walking backwards. I'm sorry! Not today, Wesky boy! In this room, the pallet blocks Wesker from us a few times, but again, we can see the red stain so we know what direction he's facing at all times, and Wesker's always moving straight forward. He never does any double back, where he just moves backwards, and so there's never a point where we're provided any level of misinformation, and it makes looping him, even in this area, very, very predictable. Now again, these locations have relatively low walls. Low walls tend to make it very hard to mind game with this, but in scenarios where you have solid walls that are tall enough to block your killer, this becomes a very important tool. So how do we flip this to our advantage as a killer? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take us over to a Legion game. We're going to see a chase against Rebecca Chambers, who's camping a pallet and looking for a stun. Again, note that the walls in this scenario are high enough that it blocks my Legion from her view, and the walls are solid, so she can't see where I'm going. She can't look through them like you can in some Killer Shack locations or certain walls that aren't, completely solid. Game's starting out. Good luck, Shiny. So we walk backwards and don't turn around until I want to attack. This is risky because I don't know that she's there. I'm guessing and I'm assuming this is part of the mind game. This is the risk involved whenever you do these types of attacks. But because I hide my red stain and don't look until I go into the attack animation, even though she's camping the pallet and ready to pull it down, I prevent her from having the time to respond until I'm already in my attack. I'm willing to gamble on this behavior because in this game I've already played against this Rebecca, I've chased her a few times, and I'm aware that she likes to hang out by pallets and try to stop them. There are obviously ways survivors can continue this kind of mind game escalation and do things to adjust and modify their play, but in this scenario, my mind game pays off, and a pallet stun that I would normally take if I were just running straight forward, I turn into a free hit. Mind games like this can obviously be risky, but if you get comfortable attempting them, you can apply pressure in really interesting and dynamic ways that survivors won't always be able to expect. This forces survivors to adjust their playstyle out of things that they're comfortable with and gives you an advantage as a killer. Okay, I gotta record that. What is that? 5-hour mark. Hide your red stain. That's like the perfect hiding your red stain moment. And then we go into a push with intent. Yeah, okay, 5-hour mark. Something very wrong with brain? Probably sleep. It's probably a lack of sleep. I hope that this little bit of footage was helpful. Hopefully seeing this chase in action and seeing both the survivor and killer side was helpful. Any and all feedback is definitely appreciated. There's a lot more to talk about with this specific type of mind game and this particular piece of tech for killers. But if you can start getting comfortable with this, it is an incredibly powerful tool to have in your arsenal. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do like it, please comment. Please consider liking and subscribing. It means so much. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Have a wonderful day. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is Cabnaroo. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. You can find me on Twitch or the next video.